Hi there, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to discuss about the solution for evaluating an arithmetic expression in reverse Polish notation. Let's look at the problem description. We are given an array of strings tokens that represents an arithmetic expressions in a reverse Polish notation. We have to evaluate that expression and return an integer that represents the value of the expression. Valid operators are plus, minus, and each operand may be an integer or another expression. The division between two integers always truncates towards 0, and there will not be any division by 0, and the input represents a valid arithmetic expressions in a reverse Polish notation. The answer and all the intermediate calculations can be represented within 32-bit integer. Let's take a look at the example 1. So we are given the tokens array which has 2, 1, plus 3 and star. Okay. So when we evaluate the reverse Polish notation, whenever we see an operator, we have to do the corresponding computation on the last two numbers we have seen in that expression. So in this case, first we see 2 and then 1 and then we see an operator plus. Then immediately we have to apply that operation on these two numbers. So 2 plus 1, 3, and other token is 3 and the last one is star. So the moment we see the star, we have to do multiplication using this number and the value of the previous expression, which is 3. So 3 times 3, 9. So we get 9. And in the case of example 2, the moment we see the slash, we divide 13 by 5. So 13 by 5, we get 2. And when we see plus, we have to add 2 and 4. So we get 6. The constraint for this problem are the length of the tokens array is ranging from 1 to 10,000. And each element in that token array is either an operator or an integer in the range minus 200 to 200. Let's look at the approach to solve this problem. So we are given this input array and the expected output is 9. Okay. Basically, we can solve this problem using stack. Okay. So in order to evaluate this expression, we have to process all the elements in the array. Okay. When we traverse the elements in this array, whenever we see an token which is not equal to the operators plus, minus, slash, star, then we convert that string into an integer and push that number into the stack. Okay. And whenever we see an operator, we have to pop the most recent two elements out of the stack and perform the corresponding operation. So in this case, first we see 2, so we pushed into the stack. Then we see 1 pushed into the stack, and then when we see the plus, we have to pop these two numbers from the stack and perform the addition operation, and then push that result value into the stack again. So in this case 2 plus 1, 3. So the 3 will be pushed back into the stack. And then we see the number 3, then push that number into the stack. So the stack will have 3 and 3, and the moment we see the operator star, we pop the top two elements and perform the multiplication operation, and finally we get 9. Whenever we see an operator, we pop the two elements from the stack and perform that operations. Otherwise, we convert that token into an integer and push it into the stack. After traversing the entire array, finally we have the value of that expression in the stack. Then finally we return the first element in the stack slice. So that's what I have written here. We can solve this problem using stack. First we initialize the stack with an empty slice of integer and traverse the tokens array, and if the current element is equal to an operator plus, minus, star or slash, then pop the top element and assign that to an arg2 variable, and pop the next element in the stack and assign that to arg1, and then perform the corresponding operation with those two arguments. Otherwise, we push the current element into the stack after converting that into an integer. And finally, we return the first element in the slice. Let's look at the flowchart. Input for this procedure is the tokens array. First we initialize the index to 0 and the stack with the empty slice of int. Then we enter the for loop. First we check whether we processed all the elements in the tokens array. If so, we break out of the loop. Otherwise, we check whether the current token is equal to an operator. If it is an operator, then we pop the top element and assign that to an arg2. Then pop the element one more time and assign that to arg1. Then perform the computation for the current operator with arg1 and arg2 and push the result back to the stack. If it is not equal to an operator, then we simply convert the current token string into an integer and push that result back into the stack. And we increment the index to process the next element in the input token array. Once all the elements are processed, then we come out of the loop and finally we return the first element in the stack. Let's move on to coding. First I initialize the stack variable with the empty slice of int and then I write the for loop. This will traverse all the token in the tokens array. Each iteration I check whether the current token is an operator or not. If it is an operator, I pop the top element from the stack and assign that to arg2 variable. Again I pop one more element from the stack and assign that to arg1 variable. Then I call the compute function to perform the arithmetic operation for the current operator and push that result into the stack. If the current token is not an operator, then I convert the token string into an integer and push that into the stack. Once all the elements are processed, then finally I return the element present in the stack. Next I am writing the compute function. This takes two arguments and an operator. First I initialize the result variable to 0. Then for each arithmetic operator, I perform the corresponding operation. In this case I add arg1 and arg2. In this for minus I subtract arg2 from arg1. Here I multiply both the numbers, both for this case I divide arg1 by arg2 and finally return the result. Next I am going to run the test cases. All the tests passed. Next I am going to submit this program. Cool, this program is accepted. Next I am going to do the code walkthrough with sample input. Let's do the code walkthrough for this input. The expected output is 9. Okay. So first we initialize the stack with the empty slice of int. So the stack is empty. Then we enter the for loop to process the tokens in the input array. Okay. So first the index is 0. So the first element is processed. We check whether this token is equal to an operator, one of the operator, plus, minus, or star, or slash. It is not. So we convert that string into an integer and push that value into the stack. So the stack now contains 2. In the iteration 1, index is at 1 and this is not an operator. So we convert that into an integer and push that into the stack. So now stack has 2 and 1. Then in the iteration 2, we see an operator plus. So in that case, we pop the element from the stack and assign that to arg2 variable. So 1 is assigned to arg2 variable. Then we pop the second element from the stack, which is 2, and assign that to arg1. Next, we perform the operation for the operator that we see now. So we add these two values and push that value into the stack. So the stack now contains 3. Okay. In the iteration 3, so this token is not an operator, so we simply convert that into an integer and push that into the stack. So the now stack contains 3 and 3. Okay. And in the iteration 4, we see a token which is equal to star. So in that case, we pop the first element and assign that to arg2 and again pop the second element and assign that to arg1 and perform the corresponding operation for the star. So we multiply these numbers and push that back into the stack. So now the stack contains only one element, 9, and then we come out of the loop and return that single element present in the stack as a value of that expression. So the output is 9, that is an expected output. Next I am going to do the time and space complexity analysis for this solution. Let's do the time complexity analysis for this input. So for this input, let's see how many iterations this for loop performs. It does 6 iterations. Okay. So if there are n number of elements in the input tokens array, then the for loop performs n iterations. Okay. So the time complexity is order of n. The space complexity is also order of n. Let's take a look at the two cases. So for this input, the maximum stack size we have seen in the code walkthrough section is 2. Okay, because whenever we see an operator, we pop the most recent two elements and perform the operation and push that back into the stack. So for this expression, at most the stack size is 2. Okay, but for this expression, the maximum stack size is 3, which is almost equal to half of the input size. This is an worst case scenario. So if there are n elements, then we need space for n by 2 elements. Okay, so we can remove the constant factor out of this, and space complexity is order of n. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great day.